صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا ابن رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا مظلوم يا يا ليتنا كنا معكم سيدي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. The adhan is heard on the noon of Ashura. Abu Abdullah comes forward to pray his salat. The enemies decide to shoot the arrows towards the Imam as he prays. The companions shield Imam al-Hussain with their own bodies. They begin to fall as he finishes his salat. He looks toward his companion Sa'id on the ground. And Sa'id says, "Did I do well to honor you, my master?" And Abu Abdullah tells him, "You honored yourself, ya Sa'id. You will be in paradise soon. Send my salam to Amirul Mu'mineen and tell him that Hussein is alone in Karbala." One by one, the companions go out to fight. Abu Abdullah sees his best friend Habib slain before him. One by one, Zuhair, Nafi, all the companions give their lives. Only the Banu Hashim remain. Steps forward the one that most resembles Rasulullah. Ali Akbar embraces his father Abu Abdullah. He says, "Father, before I go, is there even a drop of water for me to quench my dying thirst?" Ya Ali, I wish I had some water to give you, my son, but take my ring and place it on your tongue. Perhaps it can cool your burning tongue. Ali Akbar mounts his horse and he charges into the battlefield. And Ali ibn al-Hussein ibn Ali. And he fights until he is surrounded and a spear is sent through his chest. And his horse runs through the enemy camps. And Ali is cut down. عليك مني السلام يا أبا عبد الله. Imam al-Hussein goes towards the body of Ali. He sits down by his body. And Ali in his last breath, as tears stroll down his eyes, he smiles. He says, Abata, I see Rasulullah coming to me. Abata, he is giving me water. He's giving me a cup of water. Father, he says, I will never go thirsty again. Imam al-Hussein takes Ali back to the tent. But Qasim comes out, what about me, uncle? Will you let Ali Akbar go and the son of Hassan cannot go? Imam al-Hussein accepts once Qasim gives him the letter from his father. And then Qasim goes back to his mother to say his goodbyes. As they embrace, she says, Qasim, before you go, call me your mother one last time. وداعا يا أمّا. Ya Qasim, when you see Fatimatul Zahra, tell her I also gave my son in Karbala. Qasim goes out to fight, and as his sandal unbuckles, he looks to buckle his sandals, and a mal'oon strikes his head onto the ground. And Qasim calls out, Uncle Hussein, Adrikni, help me, come to my aid. When Abu Abdullah took Qasim's body back to the tent, he told him, Qasim, how much it pains me that you call for help and I cannot help you. There was no one left. Everyone had given their lives. The sons of Aqil had given their lives. The Ja'far's sons had given their lives. But there were two sons of Ali left. The children screamed out, Al-Atash, Al-Atash, thirst, thirst. Abu Fadl al-Abbas asked his master Hussein, allow me to retrieve water for the children, Mawlai. Imam al-Hussein allowed Abbas to bring the water back. Sukena told all the children, Ammu Abbas will definitely bring the water. Abbas went out into the battlefield, destroying whoever stood in his way. The only warrior who reached the river, as he picked the water up in his hands, he threw it back down يا نفس من بعد الحسين هوني. How can I drink if my master did not drink? How can I drink any water if Sukena's crying from thirst? La wallah, that's not the way of the son of Ali. He packs the water into the container and he makes his way back to the tents, and the enemies begin to crowd around him. They cut his left arm, but he keeps moving towards the tents. They cut his right arm. He keeps moving towards the tents. All he cares about is bringing the water back to the children. And the flag is held in between his upper arm and his shoulder. They hit him on the head. He keeps moving towards the tent. An arrow in his eye. He keeps moving towards the tent. But when the arrow pierces the water container and he sees the water drip to the ground, he stops moving towards the tent. He begins to fight with only his legs until they crowd around him and strike him down. Ya Abbas. They cut him from every angle. Abu Abdullah comes out into the battlefield. The enemies run away. Imam al-Hussain walks towards Abu Fadl. Abbas says, as he hears footsteps approaching, "Oh man, give me moments with my master before I leave this world." Abu Abdullah replies, "Ya Abbas, it's me." Abbas doesn't speak. Imam al-Hussain sits next to him and places his head on his lap. But Abbas moves his head and places it on the ground. Abbas, why won't you allow me to hold you, Habibi? Then he begins to speak, Mawlai, if my head is on your lap in my final moments, after me, where will your head be? Do not give me comfort when you will have no comfort. Abu Abdullah then says, Abbas, before you leave, for once in your life, call me brother. He says, Akhi ya Hussein, alayka minni salam. And Abbas leaves this world. He told Imam al-Hussain to leave him on the ground. He told him, don't take me back to the tents. I couldn't bring water back for Sukena. And I don't want Zainab to see me this way. Imagine Abu Abdullah returning to the tents. Imagine the heartbreaking scene as he brings 2 horses back. Only 2 horses with 1 man. And the Imam says after Abbas, Al-an inkasara dhahri. Now my back has been broken. There was no one left. 30,000 warriors and only Hussein. He calls out, Ya Habib, there is no answer. He calls out, Ya Akbar, there is no answer. Ya Qasim, Ya Abbas, no answer. He says, you were all with me yesterday, and today all of you are gone. He goes to bid his farewell to the woman. He gathers everyone around him. He sends his salams. He sits down with Imam as-Sajjad. He says, this will be your Imam. Then he says to Imam as-Sajjad, my son Ya Ali, take care of them, be their strength and be their patience. And Ya Ali, when you see my Shia, tell them I send my salam. He says, Abligh Shi'ati anni salam. Imam al-Hussain sends you his salam. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. And then Abu Abdullah asked, where is Sukena? I cannot find her. They tell him she's sitting outside. He goes outside and he sees Sukena sitting alone. So he sits next to Sukena. My darling Sukena, why won't you come to me? She looks at the ground. She looks at the ground and says, Father, I don't want to say goodbye. Father, I don't want to say goodbye. Abu Abdullah asks her to please give him the final embrace. She comes close and he hugs Sukena. Then she says, Father, in 1 hour I will be an orphan. Place your head on my head as you always did for the orphans. Now it's my turn to be an orphan. He says, Ya Sukena, your words burn your father's heart. He kisses her on the hair. Then he leaves to mount his horse and go to battle. And he hears the voice of Zainab call out, Mahlan, Mahlan, ya ibn Zahra. Oh, son of Zahra, don't be so fast to leave. She comes out dressed in the clothes of her mother Fatima. Abu Abdullah looks at her and his hair stands upon his skin. She says, Ya Akhi, before you leave, show me your chest and show me your neck. When he showed her, she kissed his chest. Then he showed her his neck and she kissed his neck. Then she faced Medina and she said, Mother, the amana has been fulfilled. Which amana, ya Zainab? She said, Mother told me there will be a day when you are left lonely. On that day she told me to kiss your chest, because it is where the horses will trample upon it. And she told me to kiss your neck, because it's where the dagger will lay. He hugged Zainab for the final time. Today, brother, I lose all of you at the same time. Today, Haydar's head is struck by a sword. Today, my mother's ribs are broken. Today, Hassan coughs out his liver. Today, I lose all of you. He kisses her on the head. Zainab, you will be the strength of the camp. Take care of the orphans. Take care of Sukena. And we all know what happened to Sukena. Imam al-Hussain mounts his horse. He goes out into the battlefield as the enemies call him. Come out from their tents. Abu Abdullah charges forth, and al-Husayn ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib. Anyone who stands in the way of Abu Abdullah is struck down. There is no one that can fight him one-on-one. They begin to complain to Umar ibn Sa'd, and he says, stop going close to him. Stand at a distance. Throw your stones, throw your rocks towards him. Shoot your arrows towards him. Weaken him before you go to fight him. They begin to stand at a distance. Whenever Abu Abdullah tried to fight, they would throw stones. The stones would begin to hit his head, and the blood began to gush forth. And Harmala shot his arrow towards the chest of Abu Abdullah, poisoning his body, paralyzing him. Abu Abdullah is wounded from head to toe. They begin to come closer and cut him down with swords and spears. As he begins to run out of breath, he kneels down towards the ground. And then they say, attack the tents. So Abu Abdullah stands up. You will not attack the tent. He begins to fight once more with every drop of energy he had left. And he began to attack Abu Abdullah once again. As his body became frail and he dropped to the ground, they began to unclothe him. They began to take his armor from his body. They took his turban. They took his armor and his shield. A man tried to take his ring, but it wouldn't come off his finger. So he cut Abu Abdullah's finger from his eye. They all crowded around Abu Abdullah. He laid on the ground, the blood dripping down his grey beard. 72 wounds across his body, in a puddle of blood. Whenever anyone would come near, they would see the nur in his face and they would retreat. Until Shimmer said, pass me the dagger. Abu Abdullah lay helpless on the ground. Gharib Hussain, Madloom Hussain. Shimmer came close to Abu Abdullah and he sat on Abu Abdullah's chair. I wish it was my chest, Mawla, and not your chest. I wish it was my neck and not your neck. I wish it were my family and not your family. He sat down on the chest of Hussein and he looked Hussein in his eyes. And he grabbed the grey beard covered in blood. And he pulled the beard of Abu Abdullah towards him. And he placed the dagger onto the neck of Abu Abdullah. And this dagger was not sharp, it was a rusty dagger. And he began to stab the neck of Abu Abdullah 12 times. He began to cut until he removed the head of Hussein lay on a spear. Zainab seized the head, and the horse returns back without a rider. And Zainab sees Shimmer pointing at her, but Hussein's head is on a spear.